want to thank everyone for being here with us today. This is an exciting time. This is our first 100 days, and we would have known it without your prompting, but I just want you to know that I remember who first brought the subject up. What was that, about day 6? I think the House has changed, as you're all aware. The system is different in the sense that it's open, and also in the sense that people do not have to pre-file bills and all the amendments and all those sort of things. So I'm going to ask my colleagues in the leadership to give an insight into what work has been done up to this point, with the caveat that we ain't going to quit now. Or I think the governor says you ain't seen nothing yet. So we'll turn now to the leadership folks who will go through some of the things that we have done on behalf of the people of the state of Ohio who gave us this opportunity and authority.
Good morning. Thanks for being here. I want to tell you how grateful and how proud I am to be a member of this caucus. As we look at the first 100 days, we have focused on jobs, government, and accountability. And included in the bills that have been passed are House Bill 1, Jobs Ohio, first bill introduced and passed by our House. House Bill 2, Senate Bill 4 was the performance audit of state agencies. House Bill 58, Job Retention Tax Credit and Tax Conformity. House Bill 66, Fraud Abuse Reporting System. House Bill 94, Common Sense Initiative, Regulatory Reform. Imagine bringing common sense back into the government of Ohio. House Bill 114, Transportation Budget, Economic Development and Job Creation. House Bill 159, Reducing Voter Fraud through photo ID. Senate Bill 5, Collective Bargaining Reform. Senate Bill 73, Non-Beverage Food Permitting Job Expansion. 7 of these bills have been signed into law in just the first 100 days of this General Assembly. And as far as standing committee meetings, we have 10 fewer standing committees. We've saved the state around $250,000 through the reduction in the standing committees. And we've had 50% more hearings in the same time period as in the last General Assembly. And as a sophomore, and now my second term, I want to tell you it feels good to feel that we're taking care of and addressing the needs of the people of Ohio. Really pleased to be part of that.
Hello, and it certainly is a pleasure also to be recognizing our 100th day. I'm Nan Baker. In the last General Assembly, I was ranking member of the Economic Development Committee. I am now chair of the Economic and Small Business Development Committee. And I will say that how pleased I am that we have been meeting at least 12 times so far this year. I was disappointed in the last GA that this time last, well, I would say probably April we only had less than 4 meetings. So we have aggressively gotten together and moved forward and worked on many of the bills that we orchestrated and created and proposed when we weren't in the majority. Many of those bills, I will say, have been discussed or have been passed. The small business regulatory reform, as Representative Grossman has said, was one of our 10 Future of Ohio job bills that we created through the last GA. The small business resource portal is now in committee and has been discussed. We look for that to be on the floor to be passed. The private sector compensatory time, that has been through committee and has been passed in committee. The let's see, we've got a few more here. We've had 10. The hiring of unemployed Ohioans, that has been proposed and will be going through committee. The vacant property tax credit, if you expand your business in a larger payroll and go into a vacant building, that is going to be discussed in committee. We are working on that now. Tax credits for Ohio graduates, that is also, I've heard, getting ready to be presented in committee. Also specialized crafts for those students or those that are displaced that need future training, that also will probably be part of the credits for Ohio graduates. The estate tax is also part of our Future of Ohio Jobs bill. That is 7 of the 10. A couple of those I think that we could probably do administratively. One of those bills, if you remember, is to analyze company exodus. I think we've done a pretty good job in retaining many of the businesses that we thought might leave, and we were able to work with through Governor Kasich to stay here in Ohio. Also, tracking job placement was another one of our 10, and we too are watching that to make sure that who we train through the Ohio Job and Family Services is actually being trained for jobs that there is a job at the end to go to, making sure that our tax dollars are used efficiently. So that's what we have done in the Economic and Small Business Development Committee. We are looking and creating and talking with business owners. We're talking with business groups, COSI, NFIB, Ohio Chamber, Manufacturer Association, Ohio Society, CPA, many groups out there that have given us input to create the environment to retain, create, and bring new jobs here to Ohio. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. This is an impressive and intimidating looking group. Speaking in front of. My name is Matt Huffman. I'm the majority floor leader and state representative from 4th District in Allen County. It's one thing to have meetings and talk about things. It's another thing to take action. And this is my 3rd term, which makes me almost a senior citizen here. But it's been dramatically different in this term in terms of the action that has been taken. I wanted to talk a little bit about some different areas. As we know, education is, next to jobs, is always on the forefront of Ohioans' minds, and those are things that we have moved really rather quickly in trying to address those issues. I want to talk about a couple of the bills. House Bill 21, the Teach for America bill. This is a great program that is already in place in 44 states around the country, which is going to get some great young people into some of our more troubled schools. That bill has passed out of the House. House Bill 30 has passed out of both the House and Senate, signed by the governor. Repeals many of the unfunded school mandates. These mandates were crushing burdens on our local school districts. And frankly, it really had negligible value in many cases in terms of what they did or were duplicative of things that were being done by other local governments. This bill passed quickly and is in place, and I know from speaking to many of my local folks that that is very welcome in getting that done. Also, we have passed House Bill 36 dealing with school calamity days, something that I think everyone in this body, both sides of the aisle, has been contacted, if not by school officials, then by school children. Finally, House Bill 136, the Parental Choice and Taxpayer Savings Scholarship and the Special Education Scholarship Programs, the bill that was introduced, has had several hearings already in the Education Committee. This bill will greatly increase the ability of folks to go to schools that best fit the what an individual parent and a child need. We had some really heart-wrenching testimony about bullying and cyberbullying, and about those were on separate bills, but it certainly addresses the fact that not all schools are the best fit for all children, and this is going to really allow folks to make those best choices for their children. Another area is what we need to do to try to protect Ohioans, and we've several bills. First, House Bill 20 has increased the penalty for criminal intimidation, which of course is a significant issue for Ohioans. House Bill 64 prohibit the use of synthetic drugs, also passed out of the House. Third passed out of the House is an important bill by Representative Martin sponsored, allowing for the adoption of adults, or in fact expanding that procedure. Something that doesn't affect every Ohioan out there, but for those who are involved in that kind of situation, is very important to them. House Bill 93 is the major prescription drug abuse reform, and we heard some testimony and some information on the House floor, I think, that on an issue that a lot of Ohioans weren't aware how severe that problem was. And so we've moved quickly to deal with that. Finally, House Bill 86, criminal sentencing reform, is pending in the House. That also, as we know from, I think both sides of the aisle have looked at that and said that something needs to be done in order to lift this burden off of our prisons and our rehabilitation and to sort of right-size that issue. Finally, an issue that's very important to this caucus, and that's protecting innocent human life. House Bill 63 has been passed out of the House. I keep saying passed out of the House. There's a lot of bills being passed out of the House, dealing with the parental consent. And those are issues that, again, greatly affect individuals who are involved in that. Finally, House Bill 79, which prohibits qualified health plans from abortion coverage, is also pending in the House. These are issues that this caucus, I think, has stepped up and said we need to move forward. Frankly, in the last several years, a lot of these issues have not been addressed. One of the problems with this, from my perspective, is as the majority floor leader, I think I've lost about 5 pounds running around making sure that everybody's aware of what's going on. And one of the things that I found out is this caucus doesn't need a lot of education. They do their homework, they know what the bills are about, and I'm proud to work with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm the House Whip, and as you can see by the chart I get to talk about today, it's 200 and 100. 202 bills introduced in the first 100 days. The number of voting days, or voting session days, is 21 compared to the previous General Assembly. We have had 0 canceled sessions as compared to 8 in the previous General Assembly. Bills were passed through the House, 29 compared to 5. First bills introduced, most of our bills were introduced in January versus February of the previous General Assembly. Number of standing committee meetings, 185 compared to 120. And I'd asked earlier, maybe we should compare hours versus meetings. And then when you look at when you were in the minority, we had 0 sponsored legislation that came out of a committee or the House. As a minority caucus in the previous General Assembly, we had 0. And in this General Assembly, the minority caucus has 8 coming out of committee and 3 coming out of the House. So it's been a pleasure working with this caucus because, as Matt said before, they're talented, they're gifted, and there's a lot on our plate, and we can do the job. Thank you.